Prepare to have your understanding of self-worth shattered. For centuries, a profound truth about your intrinsic value has been obscured, yet it lies plainly within the pages of Genesis. This video, guided by Goldsmith's wisdom, will reveal why you don't need to earn your worth. It's already an unshakable, inherent part of you. So let's tap into that vibe right now. We're about to go deep, not into some old, dusty book story, but into the Genesis within you. That's right. We're pulling back the curtain on the ancient wisdom that ain't ancient at all. It's happening right now, in your awareness. This isn't about some guy named Adam in a garden. This is about the moment your own consciousness wakes up and realizes, hold up, I am already the whole thing. The worth, the glory, the divine blueprint, it's all baked in. We're talking about your intrinsic worth. Not the worth you earn, not the worth your resume screams, but the worth that was declared was already finished, before you even showed up. That very good that the scripture whispers about, that's your original unshakable design. We've been looking for it everywhere, chasing validation like it's the last dollar on the ground, when the whole time the treasure map is pointing right back to the spot where you're standing. So get ready. We're about to crack this code wide open and see how this old story is actually your story of right here, right now. And by the end of this, you're gonna have to make a choice. Are you gonna keep living from the outside in scrambling for your worth, or are you gonna finally own what was yours from Jump Street? Stay tuned, because this is where the rubber meets the road on your spiritual journey. If this hits home for you, do us a solid, like the video. Drop the number 7 in the comments if you're catching this new Genesis, and subscribe, because next time we're going even deeper into how you live from this realized worth 24/7. You don't want to miss that? Perfect. Let's pick right up from that idea of owning what was yours from the very beginning. Because here's the first, and really the only, thing we got to get straight before anything else makes sense. That intrinsic worth we're talking about. Your value. It ain't a reward. It's not the trophy you get for good behavior, for climbing some corporate ladder, for being a perfect parent, or for being spiritually disciplined. That's the whole hamster wheel the world's got us on, and man, it is exhausting. You jump through the hoop. You get a little treat of validation. You miss the hoop, and you feel worthless. Your entire sense of self becomes a report card, constantly being graded by circumstances, by other people's opinions, by the size of your bank account, by the number on the scale. It's a brutal way to live, and deep down, you know it. It feels fragile because it's built on sand. But what if I told you that whole system is a complete mirage, a massive case of mistaken identity? The ancient wisdom, the real meaning buried in those Genesis symbols, points to something so radical it can sound too simple. It says your worth was declared, stamped, and sealed before the drama of life even kicked off. It's not say out there to be found. It's in here to be recognized. Think of it like the sun. The sun doesn't earn its right to shine by burning fuel correctly. It shines because it is the sun. Shining is its nature. In the same way, you don't earn your right to be worthy of love, of peace, of wholeness. You are those things because they are the very substance of what you are at your core, your divine spiritual identity. Goldsmith would drive this home by pointing us away from the created man, the one we think we are with all our flaws and history, and toward the Christ, the true spiritual identity. That's not a person who lived 2,000 years ago. That's the blueprint of your own being. That's your intrinsic worth made manifest. It's the mage and likeness stuff, not as a pretty metaphor, but as the rock bottom truth of you. You are the expression of something limitless right now. Not you are, will be are. So all this chasing we do, it's like a wave in the ocean, frantically trying to earn its wetness. It's already water! It can't be anything but water. Your struggle to feel enough is the wave forgetting it's the ocean. Your worth is as inherent to you as wetness is to the wave. As heat is to fire, as light is to the sun, you came factory installed with this. You can't lose it, though you can forget it. And boy, do we forget. We cover it up with layers of fear, guilt, anxiety, and this nagging sense of not there yet. But those are just clouds passing in front of the sun. They don't change the sun's nature for 1 second. They just obscure it from view. This changes everything. It means your work isn't to build your worth from scratch. Your work is to take down the scaffolding you built around it, thinking you had to protect it or construct it. Your practice isn't one of acquisition, but of relinquishment, letting go of the false ideas that you're just a sum of your mistakes, your job title, your relationships, or your past. When you catch yourself feeling less than, you can stop and ask, is this feeling pointing to the temporary created me, or is it obscuring the truth of what I am? You don't fight the feeling. You just see it for the cloud it is, and you turn your attention back to the sun, to that inherent, unshakable worth that is your very being. This is the foundation. Without getting this, really getting it in your gut, well, the rest of the journey is just more decorating of the prison cell. But with this, you realize the door was never locked. You were just convinced it was. And that right there, that realization that the door was never locked, is where we have to completely flip the script on what we've been told about these ancient stories. See, if your worth is inherent, then the whole game changes. It means the story of Genesis, the one we might have learned in Sunday school with a talking snake and a piece of fruit, isn't a historical record of 2 people in a garden. It's a profound, symbolic map of consciousness itself. It's happening right now in the field of your own awareness. It's the story of your mind, your perception, your moment-to-moment experience of being alive. Think about it. What is the beginning in your own life? It's not your birthday, it's this moment. Right now, every single moment is a genesis point, a fresh starting place where infinite possibility sits before you. And that garden state, that's the consciousness of oneness, of harmony, of immediate spiritual awareness where you know yourself as whole, as complete, as intrinsically worthy. It's that feeling of peace that passes all the hustle and bustle, that deep knowing that everything is fundamentally okay, even when the surface is choppy. That's Eden. It's not a lost geographical location, it's a state of mind available to you the instant you stop looking for it outside of yourself. But then comes the symbol of the serpent, and this is crucial. It's not an external devil, it's the whispering thought within your own consciousness. It's the voice of duality, of separation. It's the thought that says, maybe you're not complete. Maybe there's something more, something better, some special knowledge there that you need to acquire to be whole. It's the temptation to believe in a self that is apart from source, a self that has to go get what it doesn't already have. That's the bite of the fruit. It's the moment you buy into that lie of separation. You accept the suggestion that you are a created, limited being, cut off from your supply, and suddenly you're sowing fig leaves of personal achievement, reputation, and material security to cover up this newfound sense of nakedness, this feeling of vulnerability and lack. The fall, then, isn't a one-time event that happened to somebody else. It's the daily, sometimes hourly, movement in our own thinking from the consciousness of oneness and inherent completeness to the consciousness of duality and lack. We get cast out of the peace of Eden every time we believe the serpentine thought that we are merely human, subject to chance, disease, and scarcity. We start living east of Eden in the land of struggle, where we have to toil by the sweat of our brow to create a sense of security that was, in the garden consciousness, a given. So understanding Genesis as a state of consciousness means the entire narrative is internal. The characters, the Adam mind, or the Eve principle, the serpent, the tree, they're all playing out on the stage of your own awareness. Well, the great news in this is that if the fall is an internal movement of thought, then the return, the redemption, is also an internal shift. You don't have to travel anywhere. You simply stop heeding the serpent. You turn away from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, the exhausting business of judging everything as for you or against you, and you turn back to the tree of life, which is the conscious awareness of your oneness with the infinite. You stop trying to fix the person you think you are, and you remember the spiritual identity you've always been. The garden was never destroyed. The gate wasn't guarded by an angel with a flaming sword to keep you out. That sword, that turning, guards the way to the tree of life. It's the very discipline of turning your attention inward, to the kingdom within, that reveals the garden was right where you left it, in the very center of your own realized consciousness. And that's the ultimate shift, when you stop seeing the garden as a paradise lost and start recognizing it as the fundamental reality of your being, your native setup. This is what the ancient texts point to when they talk about the kingdom. It's not a physical place you go to later. It's not a reward for a life well lived. It is the very dimension of consciousness, the spiritual atmosphere, in which your true self already and always operates. It's your default mode, your factory setting, before all the worldly software of fear and separation got installed. This kingdom is within you because it is you at the level of your spiritual identity. Think of it like this. You're watching a movie on a big, beautiful, pristine screen. The movie is full of drama, chase scenes, conflicts, moments of lack and moments of abundance. You get totally absorbed in the story. But the entire time, the screen itself remains untouched. It doesn't get scratched by the car chases. It doesn't get sad during the tearful goodbyes. It simply is, calmly, impartially, presenting everything. Your native setup. What your kingdom is that screen. The drama of your human life, the ups and downs, the gains and losses, the health and sickness, that's the movie. We've been so hypnotized by the plot, so convinced of its reality, that we've forgotten the undisturbed, perfect screen upon which it all plays. The screen is the substance, the movie is the form that comes and goes. Your worth, your peace, your wholeness is of the screen. The problems are always of the movie. This is why Joel Goldsmith constantly pointed to a state of consciousness beyond the pairs of opposites. The world lives in the movie, in the roller coaster of good and evil, health and sickness, wealth and poverty. It's a life of perpetual reaction. But the kingdom, your native setup, is the realm of the one power, the one divine presence. From that vantage point, you don't deny the appearance of a problem in the movie, but you understand its insubstantial nature. You don't fight a shadow on the wall, you turn on the light. Living from the kingdom means turning on the light of spiritual consciousness. It means taking your stand not as a desperate character in the movie trying to rewrite a scary scene, but as the aware presence of the screen itself, knowing the scene has no power to alter what you are. This native setup is one of effortless flow and infinite supply because it is consciousness itself, and consciousness is the substance of all form. When you're identified as the character, you see a world of limited resources and you have to hustle, grasp, and secure. You live in a mindset of not enough. But when your awareness begins to anchor itself in the kingdom, in the screen, you start to see from a logic of infinity. Your need isn't to get more things onto the screen. It's to understand that everything needed for the harmony of this moment is already present as the very intelligence of the screen itself. Supply isn't a quantity of things, it's a quality of infinite mind expressing itself. Your health isn't a fragile condition of a body, it's the harmonious activity of the one life appearing as your body. So the work is always one of re-identification. It's the moment-by-moment choice to remember what you are native to. When fear knocks, you don't answer the door as the terrified homeowner. You answer as the boundless space in which the knocking even appears. You stop trying to rearrange the furniture in the movie and you rest in the knowing that you are the screen. This is the pearl of great price. It's the treasure hidden in the field of your own awareness, and you don't build it. You don't earn it. You sell all your beliefs in the movie's ultimate reality. You relinquish your faith in the power of the problems, and you buy that field. You claim your native setup. You come home to a kingdom that, it turns out, you never actually left. You just had your back turned, utterly captivated by a drama that seemed so real. And that right there is the great irony. The only thing that ever exiled us was our own captivated attention. So the entire spiritual journey, if we can even call it a journey, boils down to this one fundamental move: we have to stop the scrambling. The frantic, desperate, exhausting scramble to become worthy, to find peace, to achieve the kingdom. Because you can't achieve what you already are, you can only remember it. The scrambling itself is the problem. It's the proof that we've bought the lie, that we're operating from the belief in absence. Every bit of energy we put into trying to fix, attain, or become from the standpoint of a lacking self is just more thread sewing that fig leaf. It reinforces the very separation we're trying to heal. The scrambling mind is the Adam mind, the human sense of self toiling by the sweat of its brow. It believes salvation is an event in the future, contingent on a million right moves. It's always on a mission, always evaluating, always comparing. It's the mind that says, if I just meditate for an hour more, read one more book, master this principle, then I'll be spiritual. Then I'll be worthy. But that's just the serpent whispering in a spiritual disguise. It's still the voice saying, you are not there yet, you need something more. That very thought is the wall. That's what keeps us feeling east of Eden. In the land of struggle, the scrambling is the opposite of grace. Grace is the unearned, already established fact of your divine sonship. Scrambling is the exhausting attempt to earn what grace declares is freely given. So what does start remembering look like in the grit of daily life? It's not an intellectual exercise. It's a profound shift in where you place your authority. It's the conscious withdrawal of your faith from the outer panorama of problems and personalities, and the gentle, quiet relocation of that faith to the within. It's a pause. In the face of a looming deadline, a health scare, a relationship conflict, the scrambled mind immediately jumps into the movie plot. How do I fix this? Who's to blame? What's the 5-step plan? The remembering mind does something radically different first. It stops, it gets still. It turns inward, not to find an answer to the problems he has presented, but to reconnect with the presence that is prior to the problem. It's like an actor in the middle of a tense scene suddenly remembering, oh, I'm an actor. This is a set. The director is right here. That doesn't mean he walks off the set. He finishes the scene, but he does it from an entirely different place, a place of inner freedom, not of trapped desperation. Remembering is the act of taking every appearance, every fear, every desire, every seeming lack, and using it as a trigger to turn within. That bill isn't a signal to panic, it's your call to remember the infinite substance of your source. That diagnosis isn't a final verdict. It's your call to remember the one life that is your true being. You stop letting the appearance dictate reality to you, and you begin to let your remembered reality, the truth of the kingdom, of your inherent worth, inform your view of the appearance. You don't affirm against the problem. You turn from it. You shift your gaze from the stormy waves to the Christ consciousness that is walking on them unsinkable. This turning is the entire practice. It's the pearl of great price. Action. You're selling your belief in the power of the storm and buying the field of the calm that underlies it. This is the end of seeking and the beginning of abiding. The scrambling mind is a seeker. The remembering mind is a dweller. It dwells in the secret place of the Most High. It abides in the vine. It doesn't ask for a new condition. It rests in the truth that the only condition that ultimately matters is the condition of oneness, which is already perfectly intact. So the next time you feel that familiar anxiety, that push to scramble, to figure it out, to earn your keep in the universe, let that feeling be your bell of mindfulness. Let it be the signal not to run, but to stop, to be still, and in that stillness, to ask not, "What should I do?" but, "What is the truth of what I am?" The answer isn't a thought, it's a presence. And that presence is your homecoming. And that homecoming, that return to the felt presence of what you are, exposes the only real enemy you've ever had. It wasn't a devil with a pitchfork. It wasn't bad luck or other people or your past mistakes. The only curse, the only thing that ever truly bound you, was ignorance. Not a lack of intellectual knowledge, but a profound, hypnotic ignorance of your own true nature. You forgot what you were native to. You fell asleep to the kingdom within and started dreaming the dream of separation, of being a vulnerable, solitary self adrift in a hard world. That dream feels incredibly real. The fear in it is real fear. The pain is real pain. But the framework, the fundamental premise of the dream, that you are alone and limited, is the illusion. That ignorance is the curse. It's the veil over the heart that makes the movie's screen invisible, leaving you convinced you're just a character with a very scary script. This ignorance manifests as belief. It's the unquestioned, gut-level belief in two powers, good and evil, health and sickness, strength and weakness. It's the belief that there is a power as opposed to God, to spirit, to your well-being. From that one mistaken belief, the entire human picture unfolds. If you believe there is a power in disease, then you will fear disease and experience its effects. If you believe there is a power in lack, you will toil in anxiety and see evidence of scarcity everywhere. The curse is not the appearance of the disease or the lack. The curse is the bedrock belief that gave it its seeming reality and power in your consciousness. You are not cursed by God. You are cursed by your own unwitting acceptance of a power apart from God. Think of it like being under a hypnotist's spell. The hypnotist says, when you wake up, you will believe your hands are stuck to the chair. He clicks his fingers, and you wake up convinced of it. You pull, you strain, you sweat. The struggle is utterly real to you. The frustration is genuine. But the entire predicament rests on one thing: your acceptance of the suggestion. The curse is the suggestion and your belief in it. The moment the hypnotist gives the release phrase, or you somehow break the trance and remember, wet, my hands aren't stuck, that was just a suggestion, the whole struggle evaporates instantly. The problem wasn't in your hands, it was in your mind. So it is with the human experience of limitation. We are under the collective and personal suggestion of being mortal, material, and separate. We struggle against limitations that feel absolutely concrete, but their entire substance is mental. They are made of belief. Your spiritual work, then, is not a fight against external conditions. It is the gentle, persistent work of dispelling ignorance. It's the practice of breaking your own trance. Every time you turn within and remember your true nature as the screen, not the movie, you are speaking the release phrase to yourself. Every time you face a challenge and your first response is to get still and know, this is not the truth of what I am. The truth is one power, one presence, one infinite life expressing here. You are dissolving a layer of the curse. You are not attacking the shadow on the wall, you are simply, consistently, turning on more light. The light is the conscious awareness of truth. The shadow is the ignorance that flees from it. This is why the path is one of revelation, not accumulation. You aren't stacking up spiritual facts to defeat a powerful enemy. You are allowing the light of your own realized consciousness to reveal that the enemy, the belief in a power apart from good, was never real. It was a shadow cast by ignorance. As the light grows, the shadow diminishes. The curse loses its grip not because you battled it, but because you stopped believing in its reality. You saw it for what it was, a suggestion, a hypnotic command you had the power to reject. The freedom was always in the rejecting of the lie, not in the rearranging of the dream. The moment you know the hands were never stuck, you are free. The struggle ends not with a victory cry, but with a sigh of recognition. Oh, it was never true. That sigh is the sound of the curse breaking. That sigh of recognition, that awe, is where the real living begins. It's the end of the old exhausting game. Because once you see, even for a flickering instant, that the curse was just ignorance and your worth was never in question, a massive energy gets freed up. All that juice you were using to scramble, to fight shadows, to protect a fragile self-concept, becomes available. And that energy naturally flows into one thing, living from the inside out. This is the only real freedom there is. It's the opposite of being a puppet jerked around by circumstances, by moods, by bank statements, or by other people's opinions. It's the unshakable stance of being the source, not the effect. It's knowing the movie screen doesn't wait for the movie's approval to be what it is. Living from the inside out means your inner state, your conscious awareness of the kingdom, of your oneness, is the dictator of your experience. It doesn't deny the outer world, but it completely reverses the order of authority. The world doesn't tell you who you are or how to feel. Your anchored sense of spiritual identity informs how you see and move through the world. It's the difference between being a thermometer and a thermostat. A thermometer just reacts up and down to whatever temperature is in the room. That's living from the outside in. A thermostat sets the temperature. It has a principle within it, a set point, and it influences the environment to conform to that principle. When you live from the inside out, you are a spiritual thermostat. Your set point is the truth of your wholeness, your peace, your infinite supply. From that conscious center, you influence your entire field of experience. The chaos in the room doesn't disappear, but it no longer has the power to dictate your inner climate. This is the practical fruit of all this ancient wisdom. It's not about walking around in a blissful daze, denying pain or challenge. It's about meeting every single thing from a position of impregnable spiritual strength. A challenge arises. The old, outside, in reaction is panic, calculation, and a desperate search for external solutions. The new inside-out response is an immediate, almost reflexive inward turn. You pause. You go to your set point. You remember, I am not the character in this drama. I am the consciousness in which it appears. The same infinite intelligence that formed the universe is the very substance of my being and is present here as this situation. From that quiet certainty, action may flow, words may be spoken, but they are not born of fear. They are expressions of that inner principle, intelligent, appropriate, and often surprisingly effective. You aren't trying to control the outer, you are letting the integrity of your inner alignment organize the outer. It means your joy is no longer contingent. It doesn't come from a promotion, it flows from the awareness of your inherent completeness, and a promotion might then be one form that celebration takes. Your peace isn't shattered by bad news because your peace is rooted in the eternal, not in the temporary arrangements of the human scene. You feel what you feel, you're not a robot, but those feelings wash over the rock of your being. They don't become the rock itself. You are, for the first time, the master of your inner world. And since your outer world is but a projection of your inner world, a profound stability begins to permeate everything. You stop trying to bend the universe to your will. You align your will, your desire, your attention, with the universe, with the divine principle you now know yourself to be a part of. This alignment is freedom. It's the end of seeking because you're living from the found place. The treasure is no longer buried in the field. You've bought the field, and you're now building your house right on top of it, living out of its infinite supply day by day, breath by breath. This is the unveiled life. This is Genesis realized moment to moment.